So good evening, everyone. So I'm very happy to be here tonight with you guys. And I thought that you'll be just me and Karina and Adriana, but just the house, so many people coming. Anyway, thanks for coming. And tonight you have a very special subject. You'll be studying here the law of love, which is in the gospel in this book, Spiritist, the foundation book of Spiritism. So from the Gospel according to Spiritism, you have the chapter 11, and is named loving one's neighbors as oneself. So do you remember the golden rule? What's the golden rule, by the way? Anyone can tell?
To others.
Use your own words. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to. Thanks, Danny. So you may use your own words. What's the golden rule?
I started it.
Love others to yourself.
Love your neighbors as you love yourself. It means that the way that you want to be treated, you want to treat others. So that's a golden rule. In most religions, different religions, it can be Catholic, Spiritism, can be Islam, most of them, they share the same teaching. They say in Islamism that the prophet Moses taught this law, and later, when Jesus came, he just said almost the same thing. And you'll be studying this tonight. So before you really start, I have a question for you guys, but don't answer me now. My question is, what is love for yourself? Think about it. You can say a short definition, just like love can be my son, my whatever. Just think about his love for yourself. And before you get into my lecture, my talk, let's listen to this video here. It's a very short video. It's kind of 3 minutes, but it's very nice.
Love is like over your stuff. Loving someone even if you don't want to. When your parents and your teachers don't tell you to. Giving away stuff that you really like. If they wanted toys, I should sale toys. Swearing and saying good things about them. I should say, you're not very nice. I hope my mom agree with another person on the playground when she didn't have anybody to play with. People are loving to me feel like I should do it to someone else. Because Jesus did the same for us. Just like did others as you were having to do to you. That you should treat the other one just like I've been treated before. Not like bad, but kind of been good treated. Nobody really wants to play with somebody who's good. Being kind is helping them eat, give them some food. Get fish and bread, ingredients and peas. I'll ask my mom or dad. We don't get food. How do you put that down? Love is hugging your mom and helping her wash the dishes. I just get the water and just spray them. People show me love by holding my hand, and they also give me a kiss around the head when I'm asleep there late. There's people that don't get love in other places in the world. You help them. Help people. If we show people love, they can spread it all around the world. Yeah, Mommy. I'm so something. Mommy.
Yeah. Should I say anything else? I think they just uh, give it had give a definition, a good definition for what is love and what we're gonna study here. So basically, you're gonna go over the chapter 11 and discuss what is love and what's meaning of the law of love. Because in the chapter 11, my item to discuss here is the law of love. What is love? What's the law of love? So it's a law, first of all. Love, it's a law. Everybody should love. Anyway, so to get into that definition and to understand the law of love according to Spiritism in this book, the Gospel, you need to understand, you're going to study first, analyze first the greatest commandment. And in this greatest commandment that was given by Jesus, you're going to analyze the loving God and loving your neighbor as oneself. And later, you're going to go to definition of the law of love. So,
You're in front of the screen, so you're.
So you're gonna start your lecture analyzing the greatest commandment. And Jesus was teaching in a synagogue, and he was talking to a Sadducees, which are kind of people that goes to the synagogue, Jewish people. And then those people, they want to test Jesus. They want to ask him like a very difficult question. So to try to put him into trouble with the government of that time. So one of those guys, which was a doctor of law, like a lawyer, 2,000 years ago, he asked Jesus, Master, which is the greatest commandment of the law? Why did he ask Jesus of this question? Because Jesus came to teach a new way for us to understand life, to respect others, to be simple, to be humble, to be loving, to be caring, and think in one God as a pure love and forgiveness, and all those things that he taught us. And they were Jewish. They're very powerful people of that time. They quite didn't accept Jesus. And you know the story. You know what happened to Jesus. So all the time, they tried to put Jesus into trouble, so get the people to control him or something like that. So he asked this question. And Jesus answered to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. And this is the second, which is similar to it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. So, in the first part of this paragraph here, you say that Jesus said you should love God with your heart, soul, and mind. You see? So, you need to be a whole, not just a person who has a body. Like, who am I now? I'm a person. I have this body now, but I have a soul, right? I'm a spirit. I'm a spirit who has a body. So to understand and to love God, one of the first things that you need to understand that you are a spirit. You are a spirit. It's not just body. You have matter. You are matter, part of a life, but you cannot live your life think that you don't have anything else after that, after you die. There is the spirit, and the spirit never dies. One day, someday, you're gonna die because if you're born, someday you're gonna die. There is no way, there is no other thing more certain in your life, in our life, that one day you're born, and someday you're gonna die. It depends of each person. So, in that sense, what we should analyze us as a spirit. it seems that you need to cultivate your soul. You need to try to give food not just for the body, but food for the soul. Which kind of food is that for the soul? Food for the soul. Oh, you're here tonight. This is a good food for the soul. Here, the gospel according to Jesus, Spiritism, it analyzes many parts of the gospel of Jesus after John and all the other Jews, and analyze it for us to understand what Jesus came to do on earth. He came to teach us to learn how to love and to be a better person. He came to teach us the importance of us to cultivate our soul, to cultivate our spirit, not just be word every day to make money, to go to work, to just for material stuff. It's important, yes, it is. It's very important, but also you need to cultivate your soul. So, in the second part, he says, the second part is similar to the first one. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Is it difficult? What is difficult about it? If you think about a neighbor person that you don't know really, I mean, it's just a next door person, but sometimes our neighbors live with us in a house, right? Can be somebody you can share the bed or you share the house, because sometimes in our own house we can have problems with our family, right? So what are you going to do with the situation? So that's the love you need to try to achieve, to reach someday. It may take a lot of time, but it's not important the time that it's going to take to reach this kind of love. What is important, how much effort you put into that. How much effort you try to put into yourself to be a better human being. Not just be caring about yourself, but caring about others. Not just for your family, because it's super easy to love our family, to love our kids, to love our husband, to love our house, our dogs, our cats. It's easy. The most difficult thing is to love others that you don't even know. And how can I learn how to love others like humanity? Because this teaching is very, very deep. You're going to see on the front, by the end of this lecture that Jesus said for us that you need to learn how to love not just ourselves and our family, but humankind. So anyway, let's go to the first part. You say you should love God, right? The first part, with our hearts, with your soul, and with our minds. So how can we love God? Is it clear for yourself, for you? For me, it was not. It became clear some time ago when I started studying Spiritism. I'm not saying that Spiritism is the best religion or the best way to understand Jesus' teachings, but for me, it was the easy way to understand. For me, you may find Spiritism too. Some other persons can find a different religion, but for me, it was a good way to understand how can you love God. You can love God. Because in traditional religion, they teach you to love God by adoration. You go to the church and you pray, you sing, and you pray and you sing. I'm not saying that is wrong, it's correct. But for me, it was not transparent. It was not transparent. How can you love God? And after that, you pray and you sing, you go to your home, you're not going to pray all the time during the day. So how can you also prove, or how can you also, what can you also do to prove that I'm loving God? So here in Spiritism, let's go to understand the analysis of how can you love God. So the first thing, as I said in the beginning, you need to analyze it to understand the law of love. the law of love by understanding ourselves firstly as a spirit. So here's a question for the Spiritist book, 115. Have some spirits been created good and others evil? So if you think that all of us is a human being and is a spirit too, so why God create somebody who is so nice person, so good, and another one who is still able to get a gun and kill other people and stealing and do worse things ever human being can do? If God was so good for the one that is the person who is already good person, and God was bad to the one who is bad person. What's in between? Yeah, God created. When God created us as the spirits, we're the same. You are simple and ignorant. But God gave us a free will and said to us, who is smart and intelligent, and you go try to evolve yourself. Focus on love, try to evolve and move yourself. It's a choice to be a better person every day. It's a choice and our will to change and move forward in life to be a very good person. It's not that easy. I'm not saying that's easy to do, but it's the way. It's the only way that you have to grow. So it says here that God created all spirits simple and ignorant without knowledge. But when God created us, He gave us a mission. Adriana, which is your mission? Adriana is a teacher, is a preschool teacher. He came to live in the United States. The life that she has already is her mission. Dani is a mother. Oh, Dani, what's your mission? She was a student and she's a mother. She helps in the center. That's a mission. Like everybody else. Everybody has something to do in life, right? For some people, it's more easier. For some others, the requirements are more hard because if you see, some of us, you have a nice body, it works properly, you have two arms, you have two legs. Some other people don't have two arms and have two legs. So you see the difference. There's some people who was born in a very rich family and they have everything they can even imagine. And some other people, they were born in very poor countries. There's no food, there's no school, there's no nothing. There's a lot of suffering. You see the difference? Some people can say, is God good? Why does God create people who suffer like that and some others are so happy having everything that can ever imagine? It was not about God, those differences. Those differences about us. Because everything that you suffer now is because you did something wrong in the past and you came through a new reincarnation to learn how to fix things that you did wrong in the past. It's not that you have seen and gave us God just like punishing you, because God does not punish anybody. You do things wrong in the wrong way, and there is a law that's also called cause and effect that says that everything that I do good, that good comes back to me. And everything that I do bad and wrong, that also comes back to me. You still sow some seeds to like oranges, you're not gonna get apples. You sow seeds for orange, you're gonna get orange. If you do something not really good, you're gonna receive that thing back to you. So, but God has said to us, you have to drive your life to perfection through the knowledge of the truth in order to draw them near me. You saw here, God created us simple and ignorant, gave us the free will, and told us to try to find the knowledge, to find the truth. When you find the truth, when you find what love is, you're going to put these teachings into life, into actions every day. You're going to be close to God. It's the only language you can talk. To be close to God is the language of love and working ourselves to be a better human being. So, where is the law of God written? In the conscience. God says that when He created us, there is a channel inside our body, inside our soul, that connects us with God. Even though the person keeps saying, I don't believe in God, I don't believe there is life after that, I don't believe there is a spirit. Even though you say that, but you still have that connection. You still have that connection because that was given to us by God. So how can you love God? Through the awakening of your consciousness, through the understanding that you need to be a better person and work ourselves. So Jesus taught us that you know the truth and the truth will set you free. So what he's meaning here is that when you go to change yourself, to awake yourself to the values of the love, of the religion, and of God, every time you work in yourself, one virtue, and you achieve that virtue to yourself, you are in the process of awakening. It's because you change yourself. And when you are awake, you reach to understand what is the truth, and you become free. Free of what? You're free. You're free of devices, for example. If you, for example, used to be a person who smokes cigarettes, for example, cigarettes is something that's really bad, right? But some people still, it's not bad for other people, but bad for the person. The person herself who smokes cigarettes. And someday she said for herself, I want to stop smoking cigarettes because I want to change myself for the better. And I want to get healthy. That's clear, right? If you smoke cigarettes, you're going to be sick someday. You can be very, very sick. You can get cancer. It can kill you. But the person can say, I will stop smoking cigarettes because I have my body I have my body and I need to take care of my body. I need to be healthy. And one day, you stop smoking cigarettes. And you stop the vice to smoke cigarette. And now you are free from the cigarette. Every time you work in one virtue and you achieve that virtue for you, you become free. So to know the truth is to be aware of and to practice divine laws which are already within your soul. When you practice the divine laws which are already written in our souls, is when you are loving God. So here in Spiritism, we study, I think it's 12 divine laws. There is the law of work, the law of, I don't remember, but those three here is one of the most important. So the biggest law is the law of justice, the law of love, and the law of charity. Those three it's the trinity of the law of love. You have to God to understand justice and to practice love and to practice charity, and the three together. So the practice of three laws is that brings you close to God. So the practice of divine laws is to develop in yourselves all the virtues related to each law. So I put some example here, I wrote some example here, like politeness, prudence, temperance, generosity, mercy, gratitude, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiveness, and giving. So every time you observe ourselves, and say to yourself, oh, I need to learn how to be more patient. I need to learn how to be more humble because I'm not humble. Or anything. Of course, that it can take a long time. You cannot achieve those virtues in only one reincarnation. It can take much more than one. And it's okay. Nobody's perfect. Nobody got to the point to be a highly elevated spirit. Otherwise, you're not going to be reborn on earth. It's okay. It takes time. What is important, as I said, is to be a work in progress and to work every day, to analyze yourself, analyze your reactions, analyze yourself, and try to improve. That is what is important. So the second part, how can you love our neighbor as ourselves? This is Jesus studying. And he says, loving one's neighbors as oneself is part of the gospel. It's also the most complex expression of charity because it sums up our duties towards our neighbor, better behavior, more indulgence, benevolence, and dedication. So at that point, you may ask, I can ask Adriana, do you like to be treated like with caring and patience and kindness? You wanna that person that you better know, you don't know outside of the city anywhere. You like people when they talk to you to be kind to you? Yes. Everybody, right? Daisy, you're the same, right? You want to be treated you with kindness? Yes. We all want that, right? We all want to get our homes after the day of work and be very loving, cared by your husband or by your child or children or wife. And you want them to be very patient because you're stressed. They have migraine. You're very stressed from work. Something, and you want that for us, right? So, how about the other people? Do they deserve to be treated that way too? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. In that point, you ask yourself, well, I wanted to be treated that way. I should do the same to others. Because it's that I want to for myself, I should do the same to other people. Otherwise, there is no balance, right? If you were at home and your husband treated you very nice, and you just throw stones on him, what's gonna happen? Don't worry. Because it's always good to be treated in a very nice way. It's always good to receive kindness of others. In the same way, you should give kindness to others, treat the others in a very good way. So, and here at the Gospel of Spiritism, they ask that question. Now, what is the extent of one's neighbors? Just my neighbor next door? My family? My dog? No. We need to work ourselves to work to develop those virtues, to understand the law of love, charity, and justice, to be a better person, and put those sheets in our daily lives. In that way, you'll be extending love not just for our neighbors and for our family members and for our friends, but for the whole humankind, for the whole humanity. Sometimes you don't know, you don't have the perception, but when you are on the way of progress, so when you're working really hard on yourselves to change, sometimes a person can treat you really bad. You just like don't get any mad, don't have that feeling of revenge. That's a progress. But if a person treats you really bad and you don't want revenge, you don't wish anything bad for that person, that's a progress. If we live in a world that now we need to take care of our planet, If you have the consciousness that you need to get the can that you drink, soda, you need to recycle it. You need to separate the trash because you need to treat your planet. That's a progress. If you respect you love your dog and your animals and think that all animals are small brothers and sisters, little sisters and brothers, that's a progress towards love. Those are the small things that you don't even have a perception yourselves. But it's like when you do those small things, when you just drive your car and drink water, don't throw the water bottle outside on the street, that's a progress. So what is love? So love in itself summarizes the whole doctrine of Jesus. It explains why Jesus came here to teach us, why God sent Jesus to us. Love is the inner sun that condenses and joins at its ardent focal point our superhuman aspiration and revelation. Whatever aspiration you have in life, that is through love that you're gonna achieve those things. The law of love replaces the personality with the union of all beings and extinguishes societal misery. Because through the law of love, there will be no selfishness. There will be a community of humans helping. The strong is gonna help the weak. The rich country is gonna help the poor countries. The rich person is gonna help the poor ones. So the true love extinguishes misery and extinguishes selfishness. When you be able as a human to do that in our planet, your planet is gonna be moving to another direction, to underdeveloped planet, to how can I say? Regeneration. To be a regenerated planet. There will be no misery when you get to understand the law of love. So happy are those who overcome in their human nature. Love with a great love their brothers and sisters in suffering. Love is the divine essence. And from beginning to the end, it possesses in the depth of your soul the flame of that sacred fire. What he's saying here that you already have in your soul that kind of love. You already have it. Because God gave it to us when he created us. It's a connection with God. Why you don't see it yet? This kind of love for humanity. Because it's covered. It's covered. From our imperfections covered. You don't see it. And as much you work in your perfection, the love that you feel is going to flourish. So our love shouldn't be confined to a close cycle of friends and families. Our love should reach humanity, animals, and our planet. So, in conclusion, in order to practice the love of love as God intended, you must progressively arrive at loving our brothers and sisters indiscriminately. So there will be no differences between us, no difference of color, no difference skin, no difference of social standards, nothing. The love encompasses everything, all humans with no differences. The same right that you have is the same that everyone has. Only to be the Son of God, for being the Son of God, and to be equal to our others. In the deepest sense of the word, to love means being loyal, honest, and conscientious in order to do unto others what you would want done unto you. That's our law of love, which Jesus came here to teach us. And as I said, you need to put yourself in the position of work in progress. Never give up to work to perfect ourselves, to be a better person, to focus not just on ourselves, but in help others. Anything that you can do to help others people. And thank you for being here.